The Suebi are a Germanic faction, the only Germanic faction you can actually play in multiplayer and in campaign or using mods to unlock other factions. But they certainly are an interesting one. Their main strengths includes the high charge bonus on units such as Swordmasters and Bloodsworn, a lot of bonus versus infantry units, Club Levy, Bloodsworn, and Wolf Warriors, lots of fear units such as the Hex Bearers and the Wolf Warriors, a lot of female units with the Kimbri Bow Women, the Hex Bearers, and the Spear Women. They also have a unique general option, the only one worth taking, which is why I don't speak out of others, which is the Ariovistus, which allows for fast charge and then Pride, which increases AP damage and the charge bonus. Even a 4-axe can get near 40 charge bonus with it. And it's hit, it's one-time use though. Great for sallying out, and great if you're in an open area where a lot of units can get that charge bonus. And their last strength is their insane missile block chance. A lot of the Germanic units, especially like the Germanic slingers, have 60% block chance, 50% block chance, or 55% block chance, you name it. However, their weaknesses will include the lower mass. There is no very heavy melee infantry or spear infantry or cav to be seen anywhere. The highest is heavy. And I think even the Swordmaster might be lying. I think that might be medium, not heavy, so I might be lying to you there. And the lower armor values, such as on the Bloodsworn, Berserkers, Hexbearers, Round Shields, and a few others. So the high missile block chance and low armor is a very interesting combination. It appears that the Suebi have sort of moved past, so there you go. One final thing to mention would be their Swordmasters being the only melee infantry to have 70 HP. Well, they are worse than Oathsworn. They are tankier, along with high block chance, 80 armor, 70 HP. They are very, very, very tanky, and they can kill quite a lot very, very easy. So, in terms of overall summary, I think that does it, and we'll go on to the play to the meta channel. Okay, Spear Levy. One of the best low tiers in the game, however, are outshined by the Club Levy. Excellent stat for 220 of Duality's Peeler, 25 bonuses large. It's just like a better Levy Freeman for slightly more. It's a very, very good unit, though it's just outshined by the Club Levy. Still a worthwhile unit, but as much as a good unit this is, I can't rate it over the Club Levy unless you are facing a faction like Parthia or Saba, because the Suebi's low mass means it's more vulnerable to cavalry. So if you want some small spears instead of Club Levy, you can take Spear Levy because it's still good for either way, and obviously better than with spears and clubs against cav. The Club Levy, one of the best loaders in the game, top 5, just a 10 bonus versus infantry and 9 AP on the clubs, which I'll show you here. The way bonus versus infantry works is it adds 10 to the weapon damage and melee attack. So against infantry, it has 25 weapon damage, 9 AP, and 30 attack. And it has good missile block chance, as all Suebi units do, alongside a fairly good amount of stats across the board in terms of armor and just stats everywhere. And the Peeler is quite nice as well. For 200, you're getting a very, very good low tier. Very good to pair it with the Swordmasters, who are doing an elite spam on attack. And good the low tier on defense, depending on what kind of defense comp you'll be doing, which we'll get onto later. Moving on to Bloodsworn, it's an upgraded Club Levy. As you can see, they are more vulnerable to missiles. However, they have far better stats. Look at that, 30 attack, 49 defense, 55 morale, 55 HP. So against infantry, 25 weapon damage, 9 AP, and then 48 weapon damage, or 48 melee attack, 33 charge bonus. Very good cycle charging for 420, it's very, very cost effective. However, missiles in any form will do a lot of damage to them, so you've got to be careful with the Bloodsworn. Moving on with the Spear Brothers, we have an anti-cav unit. However, they cost 480, and if you really want cav, anti-cav, get double Spear Levy. Yes, they may have better stats all across the board, including cav counter, but I don't think it's worth it, because you get 2 extra peeler volleys, which is probably going to be more value than cav counter tactics will be against cav, and of course the spear levy of high bonus is large. So, Spear Brothers, a good unit in concept. Practicality, they're not a good unit, if that makes sense. Round Shield Swordsman, I wish these were a good unit, as it would offer some diversity in the Suebi roster. However, they're not good. This is unfortunately what we're going to have to say. 39 melee defense is abysmal for 450. It's not the greatest charge, only 24 charge bonus. Just get the Blood Swan that's cheaper. Yes, this is more survival against missiles, but it's not that good. Health is okay. The offensive stats are okay, but the Blood Swan just does its role better. And since there's so many of them, being dumped by missiles is fine, especially if you start archer dodging. So Round Shield Swordsman, as much as I want to say they're worth it, they're not. Just get the Blood Swan. The Blood Swan is going to be better for you in almost every single situation. Now, with 3 spear units all lined up here, Spear Wall, Spear Women, and Night Hunters, we'll kick it off with the Spear Wall, because the Night Hunters are special. The Spear Wall, I've seen brought on defense because of their 81 melee defense, and then Shield Screen takes up to 100 and... give it a minute. 22 with 70 armor. But the problem is, it doesn't kill anything. Which is, you know, holding power is fine, but if you're not killing anything, there's no point. They do have Peeler, they have Cav Counter, but once again, if you're not killing anything, unless you're trying to win on time, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work. So, Spear Wall, they seem like a good unit. The immense holding power, but it's not that good, unfortunately. Though they, out of, Shield Screen, they are done full anyway for 660. There you are. Spear Women, Frenzy Charge, Cav Counter. There's a Frenzy Charge, they got 29 charge now. Not worth bringing because, well, it's just a sort of a filler unit, really. I don't think it's that worth bringing. The stats themselves aren't the best, really. Frenzy Charge isn't the best ability. Cav Counter's nice. A lot of players have Wedge. It's not that worthwhile anyway. Not a good unit. If it Fear, then maybe, but then you have Hex Bearers. So, don't get Spear Women. There's not much to talk about. 660. There's no point. Just get Spear Wall if you really don't want something at that price point. Night Hunters are your Guerrilla Deploy unit. They also have Scare, Stalk, Cav Counter, and Frenzy Charge. If they don't get flattened by Cavalry on the charge, considering they're light, they will kill them, much like the other spears. Guerrilla Deploy is quite useful, so is the Scare. I keep forgetting quite how much Scare unit Suebi has. But you have better units of Scare. The only perk of it is the Guerrilla Deploy, which is better against Sally, because half your army is not on siege equipment, it's already up there, though they can deny it if they have their own Guerrilla deployments. And the stats overall, 10 armor, they're not going to kill that much. They have Frenzy Charge, which I'll show you the charge bonus now. There you go. 35 charge. So, not that bad, but really not worthwhile unit at all. Don't get it. Just get the Blood Sworn, Club Heavy, stuff like that. Moving on to the 2 80-man units, 2 specialist units. So the Hex Bearers are 500. They have Curse, and then Fear. So, Scare is minus 15 morale, and Curse, obviously there's nothing here to scare, but I think it's minus 10 or 15. So if you 4-axe, takes them to it takes them to 30 or 35 morale, which is the same as like a Nabatean Swordsman, so not high at all. Don't be fooled by their melee stats, 50 attack seems good, but when you look at the rest of the stats, they can't take hits back. Their melee defense is low, meaning they will be taking hits. They're not that good and they don't have Peeler. So for as a utility unit, you stick at a tower near a breach or nearby the front line if you're a defender or attacker, just constantly giving that Fear and the Curse to try and break the front line. Berserkers are a fun unit, perhaps not competitively viable. They're a fun unit, I've used them a couple times myself. They have 2 funny buttons, Frenzy, which gets a flat 20 charge bonus, then Headhunt. So you do this, you charge them in, and everything in front of them dies. They have 15 bonus on infantry. Only 10 armor, they are berserkers, but they have insane HP and morale. No peeler, they're going to do absolutely insane on the charge. Great to mix in with your infantry. And allied infantry is grinding. You send the berserkers in, send an allied infantry behind. Their armor should hopefully help shield the berserkers from enemy missiles, because if you do see them, you want to flatten them with cav, or kill them with missiles. So, that's the berserkers. For 820, they're capped at 4. It's very, very scary to face, but at the same time, they're not competitively viable, just they're high risk. Okay, Wolf Warriors and Wooden Spears, another Sphere unit in the Wolf Warriors, viable on defense. They have pretty good stats, though it's just an upgraded Bloodsworn, pretty much. And I'd rather get Bloodsworn and Club Levy over one Wolf Warrior. The Fear is nice, the Frenzy is nice. They will flatten stuff on the charge, but other than that, you need to keep cycling them and they will be dumped. There's better Fear units out there, like the Hexbearer for less. And you got Wooden Spears, one of your general options. It's a very good spear unit. It might not have the elite spear, but it's high charge bonus and good stats overall, especially its morale, ECD, shield screen, peeler. For 890, it's not that bad of a spear unit. I've brought it, though I wouldn't rather bring like more than one. So, yeah. Wooden Spears, people like them. I'm not the biggest fan, but I can see why. They are dumpable though. Be aware, they are dumpable. Don't take them near missiles, because someone sees Wooden Rs. 50 armor, this is 60 here, that's only big some shield screen. 50 armor is not that much, only 10 base as well. Swordmasters, one of your other general options. Tankiest sword infantry in the game. Perhaps not less killing, but they're still an elite sword they're gonna kill. Headhunt. As you can see, the 70 HP there. Excellent armor, defense charge. They do lack the elite longsword weapon, but it's fine. They're gonna decimate most things they face anyway. Very, very good on defense and attack. A very core unit of the Suebi roster. And you should always bring a couple Swordmasters no matter what, because of how good they are. And especially since you have weaker missiles, them being more tanky compensates that, and it's very nice. So Swordmasters are also your primary general option. Speaking of the missiles, you have the Kimbri Bowmen and the Longbow Hunters. Two distinct units. Longbow Hunters are wannabe Gallic Hunters, so they have less range, more damage, and no guerrilla deploy, but they retain the stalk and snipe, and they have low shots per minute. Damaging, but they take time to get their kills. They don't cost 300, I do like them. And the Kimbri are better than other archers due to their more health and more range. So, Kimbri capped at 6, which is fine because it's 1-4 rules anyway, and costs 380. You can mix and match all your missiles. It doesn't matter for Suebi, they're all good. But two distinct roles. Kimbri's better versus archers, longbows are better against infantry due to the higher damage. You got two Peltist units, the Germanic Youths. Very, very good unit, I like it for 300. Cheap jabs are always welcome in any army. The same melee stats as a regular Peltist, perhaps a little less survivable, but they also cost less. They're going to serve you very well as long as they don't rout, because they do have 20 morale. They also have fire shot, so elephants, you can make them go berserk. However, be aware you don't really have a lot of shield wall, so if an elephant does go berserk, you better pray it's just going berserk in the other direction. In terms of horse runners, which is your upper tier Peltist, excellent melee stats, decent survivability due to the missile block chance. Fire shot, again. It does the same damage range as the Germanic Youths, but you can see the melee stats are significantly better for 450. They're a very good Peltist unit, though you don't see them too often, as normally people bring the slingers or the archers. And you may ask, well, why the slingers? Well, on top of having 30 armor, which is high for a basic slinger, or any slinger, they have 60 missile block chance. So they might not be the most damaging, with only 20 damage, but for 260, they're almost invulnerable to archers, unless they mass fire it, which is fine, because it costs you 60. So, 60 missile block chance is insane. If they're on a wall, if they're just fully spread out, you're not killing them, unless you're using a load of ammo to do so. It's not worth it. Germanic slings are one of the best units in the game, end of, non-negotiable, no debate. They just are. So, that completes the missiles. You have the 3 units of cavalry options, and the last general option as a noble rider. Pretty good stats across the board, costing 1,180. Only really worth taking against Saba or something like that as like a bit of extra flexibility. That they will, due to their mass, they aren't that good on the charge against something like Cataphract. Though I'd still take extra flexibility. Let's say they knock down a spear levy, you then charge them in to plug the gap. That's how you'd use them. But 46 charge bonus is insane for melee cav, by the way. And you can see the rest of their stats are all pretty good. It's just the mass are slightly down a bit. Riders of the Hunt is light cav. Pretty armoured light cav, to be fair. They do a frenzied charge. But I would never bring Riders of the Hunt. They cost like 550 or something like that, so it's expensive light cav. And due to its light mass, it's not going to kill that much. The charge bonus is quite nice, I will say that as well, and the armour is too. And then lastly, you have the Germanic Scout Riders, coming in at 550, 560? Something like that, I forgot. But it's a horse runner, it's essentially a horse runner, slightly worse stats on horseback. And it's best against like Saba, Armenia, against Cataphracts, due to Javis having a bonus as large. And they also have fire shots, so maybe they're useful against elephants. But this is only a very situational unit, though not a bad one. They just don't expect to do it. Don't expect it to do much from this out of ammo. So that completes the Suebi roster, and I'll put army comes on screen now with 2 attacking armies and 2 defending armies. There's a lot of variation in Suebi. You can feel free to mix and match to your liking. There's very few units that aren't viable, which I will list. Riders of the Hunt, Spearwomen, Spear Wall, Spear Brothers, and Round Shield Swordsmen. The rest all have their uses, even the Night Hunters, because of the red deploy. So, every other unit is viable. A very, very viable roster Suebi has, and that will end off the video.